but they had a little clearer. I think that would make those split-second close quarter combat much better.
Great. Good. You guys find that good?
Something about the camera angle that I noticed was when you were like back into a corner and stuff, it zooms in, which I guess you can't kind of get back to the wall. But what I noticed was in that situation, you should be higher up, and a lot of times back in the corner. In addition to moving up, it needed to be like brought up above the guy. I mean, I think that was happening a lot. Back in the corner.
We've noticed some camera collision So I think that based on what I saw, that this will pick up bugs. Yeah, front of the wall was still doing a lot of things onto that. We can tune the position that it goes to when it detects the collision. That is the crouch mode.
The turnaround would be set up like when someone passes by you real quick and you go to turn around and get them. It seems kind of slow. It takes you a while. Kind of wide.
Your speed options are standard default in the middle. Right. Crank all the way up. I wouldn't have any problem.
Yeah, you might have certain
that's just me.
I do got one thing to say. I was kind of worried about the game. With the Socom feel and everything like that. And I got to say that it has Socom feel, classic anyway. And
the detection is perfect.
Yeah, and it definitely had a Socom feel to it, just a little bit more advanced. But yeah, it definitely was there.
So you were worried before? Or you're
I was very worried. Anybody knows my post. Everybody knows that I'm the guy that. I think it's going to happen.
So you feel better about it?
Yeah, I do.
If you have a question, I'll call on anybody who has one.
What will be done in this version of Socom to combat and prevent people from shooting, lagging?
That's so good. I'm going into too many details on the cheating and how we're going to do it. Making sure that people are doing actions in the game that they're actions rather than being able to show us one headshot.
So we won't be seeing the top 10 people having the rank up to 10 seconds.
We're actually, that gets into a different point. We're actually doing the leaderboards very differently. I don't think we're going to do like a traditional leaderboard based on a rating. We've done that in the past with our games. It encourages people to rank up. So this time I think we're going to leave it open. It's just going to be stats based. So, you'll have many different stats, skills, deaths, whatever. And you can sort on those and see who's the best based on the stats. But rather than giving that one rating that everyone wants to find the exploit and rank up, I think it's probably not do that.
I think the biggest issue is the lag switching right now in video games. And is there something that you guys have planned to deal with that?
It's difficult because it actually emulates actual real world conditions because people do have somewhat not very good connection. So it's not like we can just see, this guy has some pack and boot on, because then we would get rid of a lot of people that are not legitimate. So it's one of those things we have to find the right setting and boot players that are sending packets quick enough without punishing those that maybe don't have perfect connection.
Any thoughts of putting a ping meter in for that, like in the previous games, so we could kind of know if we want to stay in that room before it starts?
Well, the ping meter can be a little misleading. So we even found that in previous games. It was, based on one of the players' host, and so that was your ping that host, but not necessarily to your servers, not necessarily to the servers of the other people in the game. So finding an accurate way of showing you what the game is going to be like when you're playing it is pretty difficult to do. It's not as easy as just your ping server or even to the other players because one of the things on the network side that smooths a lot of that out or has other effects.
Okay. Thanks.
You were mentioning stats, and one of the things I was asking about earlier is gaining rank for respawn and round days, and that's fine. But I was wondering if we're looking at the stats, is there going to be any way to separate, our stats from round days to respawn? It's a very different skill set and the mix and kind of.
We track subset of staff in classes.
So you can separate them now? All right, cool.
Will we be able to adjust the number of rounds and minutes per round?
You can create your own game. Those settings are available to you. But that kind of goes into the other thing that Travis was talking about in the presentation. The custom rank groups that we have, we can change those things. A good example was when you guys requested Rush Hour and Classic. We flipped some switch and made that happen. That's kind of a small overview of the kind of things that we can change for the custom server. So you can create your own, or through feedback, Jeremy can collect feedback and you can modify that stuff as well.
I just want to put it out there that demo is a very big part of Socom, and has always been a big part of Socom in my book. Every demo room is always full, and if you guys leave out demo, that's going to be a bad thing. Just let y'all know right now. Please don't do that. If there's anything that you try to do, put that back in SOCOM, please. Because I know that my whole clan, I'm severe clan, we have 100 guys in my clan. That's all we play is demo.
I think most of us are like that.
Yeah, demo great.
Yeah, you can't leave that out of SOCOM, guys.
That is SOCOM.
That is SOCOM.
I mean,
Yeah, breach is. I'm gonna miss breach. That was a good one. Yeah, but
Demo's a big one.
Extraction. Okay, when is that? Oh yeah, it seems like it'd be hard to bring in like extraction or escort because of the whole VIP situation, but the demo seems like it might be easy. Would that be something that could happen, or that?
I mean, we're always taking all the feedback that we can. Our big focus for SOCOM 4 is like to create new game modes and really emphasize sort of
I'm not quite sure how to ask this, but I'll word it to the best of my ability. But I mean, Zipper is proclaiming that this is an all-new experience, and you guys have obviously tried to take SOCOM to the next level. You've appealed a lot to the casuals, a lot, aside to just focusing on the niche fan base group. Now, this SOCOM has evolved into something that's a little bit different than the previous SOCOMs. What about SOCOM 5 and 6? I mean, once we start deviating or once we bring in the fan base, their voice becomes just as much as ours. So we have a casual voice, kind of overwhelming an old niche SOCOM voice, and we're kind of wondering, is SOCOM 5 and 6, are we going to move into another all-new experience and keep progressing in a different direction, or are we still going to always have this SOCOM feel and, kind of have that niche vibe? And that's why all of us are even here to begin with. So I'm just, I don't know how you'd answer that. But
I can answer that one for you. I'm not someone on the panel, but I mean, right now, honestly, we're just focused on SOCOM 4, and we'd love to take those. Any future projects we do wouldn't be right with those, but right now it's all about SOCOM 4. And I think you bring up a good point, but it's one that is definitely not in our consideration right now. Right now it's all about finishing SOCOM 4 and making sure that that's the game that people are playing.
yeah, I was going to ask in regards to the user-suggested custom playlist and stuff. What's going to be the actual process? Fans suggest certain modes or playlists, and did they actually become custom ranked playlists? And how's that process working? I mean, how does it start?
Well, there's actually multiple ways. There's going to be multiple ways that we're going to do that. There's going to be, for instance, what you guys do today, the one make one of the day one ways. So we already have it going. And then we're also going to do things like capitalize on maybe a season or event that's going on, and try to keep a room possibly, if that applies. But then we're also going to do things like polls on the website, polls on the forums. We might pick a winner to pick one for the month. There's any number of things we can do. And then, but the most important one, the one I think affects you guys the most, is we can actually look at what the most popular custom rooms are that aren't ranked, and notice trends and say, well, if they're playing this a lot, we should probably make this a custom room and rank it. Yeah, we track a ton of stuff online. I mean, we know who's playing what.
It'd be a little bit more frequent than like a poll like once a week or something. It'll be multiple different things that you're doing to gather the information.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it would be once a week. That's a little bit too aggressive, I think, in terms of polling. But it'll be changing often, but committing to once a week with every poll, I think, is a little bit too aggressive. I'm going to get him first, though.
I'm going to add one thing.
Yeah, go for it.
We haven't defined the cadence, but there's nothing that says that we're only going to put up, say, one new one at a time. There could be a whole set of, 3 or 4 or more new ones that come up at a time. So I think that's really going to be great because it's going to have a lot of replayability. Maybe we have one shotguns only, maybe another one is more focused on faster movement speed. I mean, there's a lot there we can do to keep it fresh. Continually.
Yeah, I'd also say one more thing. We want to hear from you guys. So we have to figure out what the exact process is going to be, but I'd certainly love to see threads in the forums with people saying, hey, what about this game type, and seeing how many other people want that. So, what? Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, earlier podcast, you guys moved on, so discussed classic crosshairs or options for those in multiplayer. Is that still on the table? I've had a couple people wanting me to ask that specifically about the dot right in the middle of the site, like the move has. I saw in single player, but in multiplayer, at least in assault rifles and submachine guns, nothing there. Is that classic crosshairs? Are they going to be coming back, or any type of different options there?
I think that's something we're still looking at. I think that we're happy with the default crosshairs we have, and I think our current plans are to make that the standard crosshairs. But based on feedback, that's something that we need to look at.
Any chance for any kind of lobby chats with the keyboard?
There is no lobby. No,
not at all.
It's one of the things that was great in previous Socom games, but people have moved over to voice so much. It's actually not. There's so much support and effort that goes into implementing things like that we want to put those efforts in.
Clan ladders, are they going to be built in as far as having clan matches and tournaments?
We have a whole new clan challenge system. We just did it. But we talk about it. Okay, so basically when you form a clan, and the officers will have access to a clan challenge, and they can form up their party there. They do that on the left side of the screen. On the right side of the screen are any clans that are marked as ready, meaning that you take out their party, they're ready to be challenged. When you mark yourself as ready, you go on that list as well. So then you can peruse that list, find a clan that's ready. Once you accept or challenge them, we give a list of challenges to choose from. You basically choose one. That invite gets sent to that leader, and then he accepts or denies. If he accepts, then all parties get pulled into the match and play that match.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds real good.
Got a question about the lobbies. You didn't talk about lobbies online. Over here, everybody set the same map with checks. Everybody gets together. But online, how it's going to work?
Party, invites, group.
Well, what you saw was kind of you saw where it said standard up at the top. So underneath that, there'll be a list of the different game types. We have probably different play lists in each one. So you'll have, you choose a game type class event, and instead of playing one map, you'll go through all the maps. And then we have a medley of game types on maps. We have smaller maps that we have that are medley with expressions. There's a lot of different playlists to choose from in that. You go right from standard and then classic, which will pretty much be a mirror of what you see in standard, but all those in the classic will apply to them. And then the next right over will be the custom playlist that we show.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think we really want to stress, that I know in the presentation, because we want to give you a broad overview, is that you won't have to set up classic matches separately from within standard. It is its own selection within the menu. So there will always be standard rooms, classic rooms, and custom rooms, always.
Ranked classic.
All ranked, yeah.
No lobbies?
No lobbies. You will be able to join friends games, you'll be able to join clan-based games, and you can read players, I think, as well. So we'll be able to see what game they're in and be able to quickly join.
So, that's kind of what I wanted to ask. If you make a custom game that's not ranked and stuff, how are strangers going to be able to come and play that? Is it only going to be restricted to your friends?
We're still investigating that stuff, but we have a full, I know we're talking about the website, we have a full website support that we have forum support on it now, so we track that. Yeah, you can make posts and say, hey, I'm putting this game up and we're going to try it.
Because I think that's a real big drawback to even like some of the huge games out there, like Call of Duty. They got this big old custom thing, you can do all these games, and I can only make that game and only the friends on my friends list can join. I can't have a game with people I don't know because they don't know how to find it because I'm not on their friends list. And all those different custom options that they put on like one option, pointless. I feel there needs to be